What's good, everybody? Is when I come back at you on a video. So this video, I am going to be explaining to you who you really are. Now, the interesting part about this topic is that the majority of people here on Earth don't actually know who they are. And if you were to ask someone the question, "Who are you?" Right? Most people will say their name. Most people will say, "I am Jane," or "I am Joe," or "I am Alicia," right? They'll say "I am blank" as their name. They'll use a name. They say that is me. But your name isn't you. You're not your name, right? Your name was given to you, likely by your parents, right, when you were born. But that was something that was given to you. It's not actually you. Now, understanding this, right, you can ask the same person the same question again, saying, "Who are you?" Right? And then they'll go on and try to say that they are themselves, right? Like their body. But they're not their body either, because you say, "This is my body." You say, "This is my arms and my legs," right? You don't say, "I am arm" or "I am leg." So you are not your body, right? You say it all the time. It's like, "This is my body." So if it's your body, then it's not actually you, right? Like something is occupying the body, right? So you're not your name and you're not your body. At this point, most people are stumped, right? They don't know any other answer to give. And most people, because of this, right, most people don't actually know who they are. And I have a question to ask you, right? Don't you think that is important information for you to know, right? Don't you think it would be important for someone to know who they actually are and who they've been this entire time, right? And I'm here to tell you just that, right? Who you actually are, you are in fact spirit, right? You are spirit, and you've probably seen this or come across this, right? This exists in religious scripture, right? And from multiple religions, that human beings are in fact spirit, that they've existed as spirit before entering this earth and becoming, part of the physical world. And then after the time is up, that they will transition back to becoming spirit, right? That life is in fact internal, that life is eternal, that is all just transitioning from one form to another, but that you exist eternally as spirit. Let's operate with the assumption, the belief that that's true, right? What you need to know about spirit is that spirit is perfection, right? The spirits are perfect, and that spirits have access to it all. That spirits are abundant, spirit, because spirits do not lack anything, right? And they have access to everything. Now, let's imagine ourselves being in this, let's just say like a spirit world or spirit realm, whatever it is. Like, say this is a perfect world where all the spirits are at, right? Because spirits don't actually lack anything, because they're abundant, they're truly abundant, they have access to it all. That means that, just imagine, with the snap of a finger, you can have anything. So your true essence, who you actually are, because you're spirit, right? Because you're not your name and you're not your body. So you're actually something else, right? So let's just say you're spirit. You being in the original world where you came from, right? Your actual spirit world. This is a world that has everything. And that by a snap of a finger, instantly, you can have anything and everything. So whatever food you feel like eating, snap of a finger, you can have it. Whatever vehicle, I don't really think spirits drive, right? But let's just say if you wanted to drive a vehicle, right? Snap of a finger, you can have it. Say, for example, you wanted to live in the nicest, biggest home, snap of a finger, you can have it. If you being in a world, let's not now walk with me on this one, right? You being in a world where you can have access to it all, right? How would it be possible then for you to truly appreciate having it all if that is all that you know, right? Listen to what I'm saying carefully. If by a snap of a finger you can have anything you want, anything your heart desires, because you have access to it all, you're abundant, you're truly abundant, you're in the place where you don't lack anything, right? And anything you desire, you can have it instantly. If you had access to this power, right, how then would it be possible for you to truly appreciate it if that's all you know, right? If all the other spirits that are in the world with you all have access to the same power, how would you truly then be able to appreciate what it is that you have if that becomes all that you know, right? So just imagine with that same belief, right? That same idea of the spirits having everything. Why then would a spirit want to come to Earth and experience living in Earth, right? The belief here is that you've come down to experience this physical existence so that you can truly appreciate the gifts that you've been given as a spirit. Because in order for you to truly appreciate something, you would need to experience the opposite of it. So most people, when they were born here on Earth, right, they weren't born with anything. They were born effectively broke, right? You're not born owning anything, right? Of course, some people, they they have parents who would pass things along to them, but the average, pen flew, right? The average person that's born here on Earth is just born as a baby, as themselves. And so effectively, right, you're essentially born broke because you're not born with anything. But being born here on this Earth, right, this Earth where there's infinite resources, infinite everything, right? This planet here is super wealthy as it is. But you being born broke, right, not being born with anything, you now have the opportunity to truly appreciate and experience the essence of who you are. Because the fact that you're spirit and you come from spirit, you come from perfection, you come from being able to have anything with the snap of a finger. In order for you to truly appreciate that and truly experience your gifts, you would have to be put in an environment, in a situation where you can experience the contrast, or you can experience the opposite of that, which being born here on Earth, right, you are born broke, not having anything. So because you're born broke, you have the opportunity to then experience the wealth that you have within you, because you're experiencing the contrast, right? And then your life journey from beginning where you're at, beginning in point A, beginning broke, to then arriving at point Z where you can experience wealth, that is when you'll begin to truly experience and appreciate the wealth. Because if wealth is all you've known and wealth is all that you've come from, how can you truly appreciate it? How can you truly experience it if it's the norm, right? You hear it all the time. People say, you can't appreciate what you have until you lose it, right? It's the same idea here, right? Some of us, and many people, like you watching the video, right? Many people that exist on this planet have their basic needs met. They have food, water, shelter, right? All the things, right? And yet, a lot of these same people are unhappy because of the minor things that happen in their lives, right? They don't accept or appreciate that they have their basic needs met, that there are plenty of other people, millions of people in the world, that wherever this person that's frustrated at something that's going on with their job, or like they're pissed off of like something that someone said to them, right? This person here that is mad, that has all their basic needs met, right? Someone that is living a quote unquote normal life, they can be so caught up and mad and frustrated about some minor thing that's happening in their life, not knowing or understanding or appreciating how blessed they truly are with having their basic needs met, that there are some people on the other side of the world that don't have their basic needs met, that would kill to be in that person's shoes, right? If you're someone that watching the video that you have your basic needs met, just know that there's someone out there. You might be frustrated at where things are at in your life, right? You might be frustrated that you're not where it is that you want to be at this position in life. Yet there's someone on the other side of the world that would kill to be, not actually kill, right? But would desire to be in the position that you're in. Like the position that you're in right now is someone's dream position. Think about that for a second, right? Like a lot of us have our basic needs met, and yet because our basic needs are always met each and every day, having shelter, having food to eat, water to drink, being able to shower and having a bed to sleep on, because these basic needs are met all the time, oftentimes we don't even think about these things. We don't even think about how blessed we are with that alone. And there's people who don't even have that, who would truly desire to have that. This is what I mean. This is what I mean when I say that if you were, and let's believe this, right, for the sake of this example, right, if you were spirit and you had it all, snap of a finger, you can get whatever food you want, whatever vehicle you want, whatever house you want. If anything happens to that vehicle, snap of a finger, you can get it right back. If anything happens to a house, snap of a finger, you can get the house again, or you can make it even bigger if you want, right? Like, people will say, oh, that sounds absolutely amazing to just get whatever you want at any point instantly, right? I know it sounds good, but then if that becomes a norm and if that is all you know, then you won't be able to truly experience it because that's all you know. It's normal to you. So you pretty much take it for granted. You don't pay attention to it anymore, right? It's the same idea with most people and the way they live their lives. Most people who are in, say if you're watching this video and you have your basic needs met, a lot of times you don't even think about your basic needs anymore because that has become the norm. Whereas other people, that is their focus because that's what they want. So it's the same idea here. If you have the power to have anything you could ever want in life instantly, right, then the only way for you to appreciate it is to be in a position where it seems like you don't have that. And it seems like you have to work for each and everything to unfold in your life. And that's why, right, it may take time. You can have the dream of having a car, a home, a boat, all these things. And, your spirit self, snap of a finger, you can have it all. But how do you expect to appreciate it if you can just do that, right? So in this earth experience, right, it might first start off that, you may get the car, and then it may take you some time of working to then get the house. And then it may take you some time, right, to then get the boat. But because that's happening, you'll begin appreciating it all because it'll arrive at the pace that it's meant to arrive, and it'll be effectively spaced out in between, so you can appreciate these things as they make their way to you, right? If you were to see life, if you were to assume this is true, right, and you were to view life from this lens and this perspective, you will see life completely differently, because then you won't look at, starting from humble beginnings as a bad thing. You'll actually appreciate it. It'll make you smile. It'll make you happy because your true form is abundance. Your true form, it doesn't lack anything. It has it all. So if that's your true form and that's who you are, then that means you have it all. And if right now you're just in a position where you're just broke, which just means that you don't have any money, you probably are, in the physical world, probably don't have things, that's okay. You'll be less impatient about it. You'll appreciate this position because you'll understand that, hey, where I'm at right now, all this is just temporary. This is not a life sentence. This is not where I'm going to be my entire life, because my spirit wants to express itself. It wants to showcase its abundance. However, it wants you to experience the opposite, and it wants you to experience contrast so that you can appreciate the actual abundance, right? If you begin at point A and the final goal of wealth and abundance is point Z, you'll appreciate the journey a lot more, traveling from point A to point Z, and it will be so much fun. It will be an absolute thrill because you're starting from the very beginning and getting to where it is that you've always wanted to go, rather than already beginning at Z and then you don't have to make any progress, right? And I used to, be against this idea as a kid, right? Because as a kid, I used to question. As a kid, I used to be frustrated. I used to tell myself, it's unfair that I come from humble beginnings, because it would have been much better, being brought into this world with a wealthy family, because then it's like I could have it all, right? I used to think that way as a kid because I was a good kid. I did everything I had to do. And there were times where I desired certain things and I didn't get it. And I used to be frustrated, right? Because I would see other kids who weren't doing what they were supposed to do and still get everything that they wanted, right? So that's how I used to think as a kid. However, that perspective has changed, because now when I think about it, if I were to be born into like complete absolute wealth, where if I were brought into a family where like money was not an object, that anything that I could ever want by a snap of a finger, I could get it. It would be fun for the time being, and then eventually you'd get bored because you've never experienced contrast, right? So this is why contrast is never actually a bad thing. This is why, regardless of whatever happens in your life, it is actually a good thing. It is actually serving you, because even in the quote unquote bad events, it's simply just contrast. Your spirit is perfect. Your spirit has it all. So if you are born into this earth, or right now you're in a situation where you're just broke, you're simply just experiencing contrast. And that's a good thing, because then it wakes up your desire of what it is that you truly want. And then you'll begin stepping towards that. You'll begin working towards that. And the journey from where you're at now to where it is that you're headed is going to be so much more fun, rather than already being already there. Right? If you were born into a wealthy family where money isn't an object, and then at any moment you could ask your parent for $10,000, $100,000, $1,000,000, and they won't hesitate to give it to you, how is that any fun, not having to work for anything? Right? At a certain point, you're gonna get bored, because you won't ever understand the meaning of a dollar. You won't ever understand or truly appreciate your wealth, because that's all you've known, right? It no longer becomes an experience, it becomes a knowing, right? And for example, if you figured out the favorite food, like your favorite food, say your all-time favorite food is macaroni and cheese, right? Say you love it, by far your favorite. If each and every day you ate macaroni and cheese, and that was the only option, sun up to sundown, each and every day, at a certain point, it will no longer be an experience to you, right? You will no longer appreciate the cheesiness of the mac and cheese, and how gooey it is, and how warm and delicious the mac and cheese is, because you're eating it each and every day. It no longer becomes the experience. Now, if you experience eating foods you don't like, or you experience eating mediocre food a lot of the times, or from time to time, and then you treat yourself to mac and cheese, once a month or whatever it is, then when you're eating the mac and cheese, you truly savor every bite, and you truly appreciate it, because this is quality mac and cheese, and this is your favorite meal to eat, and you don't eat it as often. So that is what makes life experience so much fun and a thrill to be a part of, because you have here on earth, right? You can experience the opposite of things. You can experience contrast. So then when you're experiencing things you don't want, or things that you don't prefer, it creates, you're able to learn about yourself, and you're able to understand your preferences. And then when you understand your preferences, right, you can truly experience your preferences and truly appreciate that. That is how it all works. So that is who you really are, that you are spirit, right? Because you're not your body, you're not your name, you're spirit. And being spirit, that means you are eternal. That means you've existed prior to this earth existence, and when your time is up, you will transition back to spirit again. And spirit is perfect. Spirit has it all. And you come from a dimension where you have it all. By a snap of a finger, you can have everything. And if all the other spirits, if everyone has access to that same power, and everyone can do that, then how can you ever truly appreciate it? Because that is all you know. You don't know anything but that. So in order for you to truly experience your creative gift, your creative power, you have to be put in an experience where you can experience the opposite of it. So then even during your time to struggle, you'll appreciate the struggle, right? Because you're like, wow, like I know what it's like to not have anything. I want to have things. I want to be in a position where I can have access to anything and everything that I need. You desire that because you've experienced the opposite end of it. And then when you do have these things, you'll appreciate it because you know what it's like to not have it. That is the beauty in life, right? So this is why you want to appreciate your life for what it is. Everything that you've experienced up until this point, you want to appreciate it all, because everything is working in your favor, and everything has given birth to your preferences, but also where you're at regardless of where you're at, regardless of the struggles and everything that you've gone through, where you're at right now, you're in the perfect place, because where you're at compared to, for where it is that you want to go. If you're at point A right now and your goal, your dream is to get a point Z, the journey from getting a point A to point Z is going to be worth it. It is going to be so much fun. You are going to enjoy every second of it. You are going to appreciate it all, because it is the journey. It is you experiencing the opposite and then stepping closer and closer to who it is that you've been this entire time, stepping into your true self, your true form, and then being able, once you arrive at the point of being wealthy, right, then that's when you're able to truly appreciate your gifts and who you've been. So this earth experience is a blessing. Treat it as that. Appreciate it all. Everything is working in your favor, right? Don't be discouraged. Don't beat yourself up, right? Know who you are. Know and understand and believe your true essence of who you actually are and who you've been. That you are a powerful creature. You have access to divine power within you, and you can create the life that you want. And you're well on your way to do that, right? Even if right now you may not see any evidence, and you might even be experiencing counter evidence, right? Just have faith and believe that everything is working itself out, and you are well on your way to experiencing wealth. If right now you're going through troubling times and you're struggling, right, just know that this is all temporary, that your true self, your true essence, you don't lack anything, so you can't lack anything, right? So you have access to it all. And just know, because you have access to it all and you're this powerful divine, like your spirit, right, just know your spirit has all the answers, and your spirit is guiding you towards where it is that you're supposed to go and where it is that you need to be. So have faith and trust, because that is who you really are. That's who you've been, right? And that is who you really are. So that rest of the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe, as we're on the road to 1 million subscribers, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.